Hey guys, it's your boy Sam here, back again with a brand new series, Let's Talk FIFA 21, where in each episode we'll be discussing each mode and aspect of FIFA 21 and discuss basically what should be improved and changed for the next FIFA, which will obviously be FIFA 21. Before we do get into this video, I would like to say thank you to everyone who tuned into the 24-hour live stream for Trust or Trust. If you guys still want to donate, feel free to click the link in the bio. We've so far managed to smash our £200 target and we are currently on over £329 and I can't thank you guys enough. However, also, if you guys, before, as I said, we do get into this video, if you guys would like to smash that like button, also subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, comment so that we can maybe discuss different ideas and, you know, differences, and whether you agree with it, and finally share this video so that maybe we can somehow catch EA's attention so that they can change and maybe add some of the things that we've discussed in this video. I highly doubt it, but let's get right into this video. So, user interface is one of the biggest parts of Ultimate Team. If the menus are bad, nobody's going to use them. If the overall experience is fairly bad, even before getting into a game, nobody's going to play the game because it's going to be very frustrating. So, for that reason, this is why it's fairly high up in my list. So, the first thing I think that EA need to improve for FIFA 21 regarding user interface is the menus. The menus for me needs a complete revamp, but not too much. Not as much of a change from FIFA 19 to FIFA 20. I think they need to blend a bit more of FIFA 19 and FIFA 20 and put them both together, and I think it would make the menus perfect. Reason being, I feel like FIFA 19 to complete SBCs, especially repeatable SBCs and stuff like that, it was so much more quicker to do it rather than FIFA 20. But I do like the new introductions of the wheels and I feel like they should keep that in place. However, when completing SBCs, which I think will make it fairly quicker, is when, if you guys don't know, when you go into SBCs and you go on the squad builder challenge, it comes up with an empty preset. However, I feel like the preset should be relevant to the SBC you're completing. For example, if you're doing a gold upgrade, it should already have the preset filter of the quality to gold already put in place so that you can complete SBCs a little bit quicker. I know it's a little bit of a nitpick, but for me, I feel like just to make things a bit quicker, for example, when I'm streaming and stuff like that, I feel like to make it just the overall bit more quicker so that we're not on the menus as long and we can get straight into gameplay. Other things that should definitely be put in place on the objectives tabs are the ability to pin objectives. I think this will make things really easy when we're in a game, for example, of division rivals, squad battles, and you pause the game, you can't remember what objective you have to do, whether it's an assist or score with, let's say, for example, a French player. You should be able to pin certain objectives so that they'll be able to pop up in the objectives tabs, which has already been placed in FIFA 20, but is always empty. When regarding SBCs as well, players, you should be able to have the ability to lock certain players in so that they cannot be put into SBCs no matter what. So there's no case where you may have accidentally put in your Ronaldo or Messi or any player, so you don't mess up your club basically. Now, regarding the transfer market in general, whether it's from opening packs and all of that, I think there should be quite a few things implemented. For example, we've asked for special cards to be implemented, and that is great. However, with the quantity and variety of special cards in the game, you should be able to now filter out through different versions and different special cards. For example, there's no filter for the Copa Libertadores. It's very difficult to find Copa Libertadores players when you're trying to do the League SBC. So there should be an option where maybe when you search the player, it comes up with all their different versions of their cards before you actually click search. Or if you want to search all or just one in specific, you should be able to, similar to how you can in Footbin, Footahead, and all the most FIFA database websites. In addition to that, I think it should be much easier to compare prices. Obviously now at the moment, it was a very good addition to add the compare price. You can kind of get somewhat of an idea of what the players' prices are. However, I feel like it should be a bit more in depth. So when you go to compare price, you can maybe set a max value, max buy now price to see whether the player's going for X amount of coins, so that overall when you're selling players from players you got in packs, when you're trading, it's just a bit more quicker and easier to do. Loans should definitely be filtered out. I think everybody's been in that position where you've had so many loans, and when you're trying to do SBCs, when you're trying to you know, make your own team, you know, squad build. And you just have a load of loans just getting in your way, and it gets very, very frustrating, I will say that. And I feel like there should be a way of, you know how you can have an untradables only section, you should have one that says non-loan players or something like that, so that you don't have to go through all the loan players before you can actually get through your actual players. Finally, they should have more in-depth stats. And I'm not just talking about the players. Of course, they should have more in-depth stats with the players. Maybe have XG, have expected assists and stuff like that, you know, chances created, amount of shots on goal and stuff like that, because they can have the statistics for that. But not just that, I think they should have, instead of player stats, but also team stats. So if you've built a squad, you should have stats just for that squad, because sometimes you create a new squad and a player may perform better in that squad than in another squad. Also, you should have stats for the weekend league, division rivals, and even squad battles. Maybe have a weekly, monthly, and of all-time record for these game modes, because it's quite easy to do. You know, they've already got recorded stats for friendlies, so I don't understand why they can't have recorded stats for these other game modes as well. And it will just make the overall experience just a bit more better, in my opinion. So that's all I've got for user interface. And next thing we're going to get into is so with this aspect of FIFA Ultimate Team, we're going to be covering a wide range of things. So the first thing I'm going to be mentioning is a very unpopular opinion. I'm not too sure, but I feel like it may be. So you guys agree with me or disagree with me, let me know in the comment section below. But it is that objectives shouldn't be completed or available for competitive modes. I feel like it should be available in all modes, because for me, having to get wins with certain teams using first owner players and stuff like that, if you don't have a stat club but you're a decent FIFA player and you come against a guy with Messi's, Ronaldo's, Neymar's and stuff like that, you're significantly at a disadvantage. So now some of you guys may be wondering, how can you combat this and stuff like that? And this is what this is what I think should be put into place. It was in previous FIFAs, and I think everybody would love it if it came back. However, with a few tweaks, I feel like they should bring back tournaments. Very simple. Tournaments was around FIFA 17 and decided to remove it, and maybe FIFA 18, I can't remember exactly, but it was around, and you know, it was used to qualify for the weekend league. It was also used to get a few packs and stuff like that. However, I feel like they should have set place tournaments and limited time tournaments. So the set place ones are permanent, they're always there, but the limited time ones, they can include some of the house rules, you know, no rules, survival and stuff like that, just to make the game a bit more interesting. They do it in pro clubs, so I don't understand why they can't do it on Ultimate Team. And it also makes those modes a bit more usable as well, and also have just other things, so different stipulations. Maybe you can only use a certain amount of cards, you can only use silver cards, you can only do this, that and the other. And with that, if you win the tournament, if you finish second place, third place, you will win certain prizes. So you might win a special card for doing it, you might get a guarantee inform pack, you might just get a good pack, you might get some coins or coins with packs. I'm not too sure about all the rewards, but you get what I'm trying to say. Then the permanent ones are going to be there all the time. They're quite simple. They might just have any team, and then whoever wins it may get a gold pack, like that's what they had in the previous FIFAs. But I don't think a gold pack would be substantial enough the way FIFA is at the moment, especially with foot champs and stuff like that. But with these tournaments, it doesn't have to just be a simple knockout stage tournament. So it doesn't have to be round of 16, quarterfinals, semi-finals, and then finals, and then you win. It could be very different. It can have a knockout stage. It can have a group stages, knockouts, and then finals. So similar to like the ones that they had in the World Cup, you know, game modes and the Euro game modes, something along those lines. But also just a straight out knockout competitions. Maybe the ones with the group stages may have higher rewards. I'm not too sure, but it's definitely something that EA can do because they have done it before in previous FIFAs. And that's, for me, one way they can definitely be able to combat the objectives. So if you win this reward, you might be able to get certain icon tokens or something like that. Now, the next point, which a lot of sports titles have done, and you guys may be thinking FIFA's going to turn into Pokemon, but I personally think they should have evolved cards or evolution cards. I'm not sure what they're going to call them, but something along these lines. And they could add a lot of interesting things with this. They could, first of all, which was one of my ideas, which was in FIFA 09 Ultimate Team. If you guys, you know, some of you guys weren't playing FIFA then, but basically you could create your own player, and he would be starting off with a bronze or a silver, I can't fully remember, and then with playing the game and getting objectives, you could actually improve his card, so he'll go from a bronze to silver, and then gold. You get the gist of it. So it would force you to use a really rubbish card and trying to mold a play into your own play style. But also some of these some of them can actually just be preset players. So for example, I don't know, let's say Roberto Firmino, let's say Pogba or something like that in a certain promo at the start of FIFA. And some of them can be through milestone objectives like they have at the moment in FIFA 20, but obviously a bit better. So once you've done the milestone objectives or buy them and stuff like that, you have certain, so for example, you have certain objectives. Completing objectives will basically help upgrade those players. So if you score 100 finesse shots with, I don't know, let's say for example Evolution Firmino, the one I mentioned, you get an addition, you get a boost of +5 in his finishing stats, and you get the finesse shot trait or something along those lines. And then it will also, as I said, it will be able to allow people to mold plays into their own certain play styles. So if you want somebody to be quick, maybe have score goals via through balls. So, get runs in behind, increases his finishing, but then it will also increase his sprint speed. So something along those lines, so that it will allow people to mold their plays into different play styles. And it also avoids there being a meta of the same players in the same place, because I think everybody, when they get into the weekend league, they're always coming against Neymar, Messi and Mbappe, this FIFA especially, and it is very annoying to come up against the same team. So if we have evolution cards and stuff like that, it will have a variety of different players, which will be able to make gameplay a bit more unique as well. So the next topic we're going to get into is chemistry styles. I feel like they should add more chemistry styles in the game. We've had these chemistry styles now for ages now. It's been at least probably 5-6 years since we've had chemistry styles, and I feel like they have more possibilities to add more. I've done the math and I've seen that there are around 35 possibilities that they can have with chemistry styles, whether it's changing, for example, there's not one for pace and dribbling, there's not one for pace and physical and stuff like that. They can definitely add more chemistry styles to change the style of play, or not have any chemistry styles whatsoever. But personally, I've heard that argument, but I personally think they should just have a more variety of chemistry styles, but not too much, because that will create a lot of SBC fodder. Then also, there should be more variety to daily objectives, because everybody knows play 2 games, win 1, and then play a FUT friendlies match. Everybody knows it. It's very mundane. It's very boring. Games like Fortnite tend to, switch up a little bit. Even on FIFA 19, it was more different than what it was in this FIFA. So again, I don't understand why they've done a backtrack on that. Also, I think milestone objectives should be updated a bit more frequently as well, and with a bit more variety. They've just got the same players there, the milestone players, and then that's it. They have a few different ones from different promos, which can be through milestone objectives, instead of just dumping them onto SBCs, so that players can actually just grind onto it. And then also, this one is, these two, I think, should definitely be put in place. I think everybody who has had players, especially through bronze pack methods and stuff like that, when your trade pile gets full and you're doing SBCs, and you know that you've got a player that you've just given to an SBC, and you want to do another SBC, but you have to go into your trade pile and then put him back into your club and then do the SBC like that. I feel like there should be a direct way while doing an SBC to access your trade pile, so that you can put the players from your trade pile into SBCs, just again to make the overall experience a bit more quicker. I know this kind of goes into the user interface, but I wanted to put this into the SBC section. And then also they should have the ability, well, first of all, to have a trade pile for untradeable players, so that you don't feel as guilty for putting in, discarding untradeable duplicates and stuff like that. So maybe have a place where you can have untradeable duplicates and stuff like that. I'm not too sure exactly how they'll do it, but have like maybe an untradeable section of duplicates where you can place them there. And this one is an interesting one, but I feel that they should, it's going to be interesting how they do it, but players who, say for example, you went for untradeable packs and you got, let's say for example, Ronaldo, but you didn't like Ronaldo in the game, I feel they should have it in place where through grinding the game, maybe every season of FIFA, you can only do it twice, let's say. You can have the option to get tokens to switch, through objectives and stuff like that, to actually turn that, untradeable player tradable. So you only maybe have the ability to do it with 2 players or 1. I'm not too sure exactly how they do it because I know that it could easily be exploited. But through tokens and doing objectives, you can actually get the opportunity to make untradable players tradable, so yeah, you can make coins and improve your team further on, instead of you having to be locked in to using a player that you may not like because he's fairly high rated and, you know, stuff like that. And then icon swaps as well should definitely be available at once. I don't see the point of them having 2 parts, because if you really want an icon, by the time sometimes the icon swaps are finished, the high-end icons aren't even worth doing, because there's so many special cards which are more value and much better in the game once the 2-month period is over, because the game can easily change within 2 months. Also, make Team of the Week upgrades more relevant to the performance. For example, if, I don't know, let's say for example somebody scores from the halfway line, they should have their long shots increased by a lot. If they score an insane free kick in that game, they should have their free kicks heavily improved. If they, I don't know, they had a very good defensive performance in midfield, increase their defending and maybe their passing or something like that, so that it's not just the same upgrades all the time and it's very predictable. Just, they've had it on previous FIFAs, as I said. I don't understand why they can't do it now, and just make the upgrades a little bit more relevant to how the player performed in that game week. So that's just my opinion. On the topic of special cards, I feel like they should definitely add special managers, you know, whether they might have a significant boost to stats, or they may have a boost to chemistry or something along those lines. So for example, have an icon manager, so the likes of Sir Alex Ferguson, Bob Paisley and those type of managers, just to give them an icon, just to give them respect. They weren't good players, so they should definitely have the recognition as managers. And also maybe have a manager of the month SBC, where they can you know, have a bit of an extra boost to the team if they're put in place. And then also regarding promos, I think there should be different varieties. They should have more, you know, different variety of players, because these promos on FIFA, they've used so many cards in the same promos on FIFA this year. For example, Firmino's been used a few times, Rashford's been used a few times, so has I'm trying to think who else. Ben Yedder's been used a few times as well, and I feel like they should just add a bit more variety to the promos, just to make things a bit, you know, fresh and unique, to change, you know, the amount of players that are used on FIFA. You know, add a bit more variety, but then also add a new promo, which I feel like I think will be pretty cool. But I think they should definitely have Goal of the Month, Puskas Award, which will have a significant increase to the player shooting. But if it's a team goal, maybe a few players get into it and then they, you know, increase the passing or something like that. I'm not too sure exactly how they'll work it, but that's what I think they should be done, in my opinion. Now this one, I think anyway, just with the current climate that we're in, EA, in my opinion, have to add this in, because at the moment there's not enough content. And I'm hoping that either this applies for FIFA 20, but especially in FIFA 21, there needs to have more daily content. Make League SBCs and player SBCs a bit more worthwhile to do, to make the packs inside those SBCs a bit more worthwhile. Make marquee matchups, make the packs in them more worthwhile, because at the moment you get one good pack and the rest of them you exchange like 80 rated teams, and the best pack you're probably going to get is a Prime Electrum Players pack. So I think they need to make the rewards much better in that regard. So let's get into the next section, which is FUT Champs and Division Rivals. They're 2 parts of Ultimate Team which cause a lot of frustration for many gamers, but they also provide the best rewards that you can probably get in Ultimate Team. However, I don't feel like that's the only way. I feel, this is my opinion, I feel like everybody will agree with me on this regard, but I feel like on FIFA 21, I hope that they put this in, but the more games you play, the higher your pack odds are. This is added, I'm pretty sure it's in Rainbow Six Siege, I'm pretty sure they have this in PES, and I don't understand why they can't have this on FIFA. It rewards players to play in the games, it incentivizes people to grind out the game and play it, because a lot of the time, if you've got either not even a bad record, but if you don't play that many games on FIFA, if you have an SBC account, an SBC follower account, you most likely have better pack luck in that than your actual account itself. And you know, it shouldn't be right that. It should be, if you actually play the game more, you should have more chances and a higher probability of you being able to pack those good players, you know, your Messis, your Ronaldos and stuff like that. Also, I feel like FUT Champs rewards in general should be overhauled. Not completely, but to a certain degree. Reason being, I feel red player picks over gold. Once, if you get gold 3, your red player picks, you should be guaranteed an 81 plus. And then once the stages of FIFA go on, you know, once we get towards the end game, you shouldn't be getting 82s. You should maybe boost up to an 84, and then once you get to an 84, maybe an 85 and stuff like that. Because towards the end of the game, you're going to be playing much better teams. The quality of players are much higher. And, you know, not everybody's going to be rocking with 82s. And if not, anybody is going to be rocking with 82s unless you just started off really late at the game. And then also, I feel the Team of the Week packs should always be guaranteed 81. Team of the Week guarantee, you should not be getting 81s and belows in that. And then maybe towards, again, same thing like I said before, towards the further end of FIFA, they should maybe be guaranteed maybe an 84 or something like that. Because 23 wins is very difficult in FUT Champs. And the fact that you're not even guaranteed an 81 sometimes, especially at the start of FIFA as your best player, for me, is just not right. And it decentivizes people to actually get to Elite 3. And regarding Elite in FIFA, Elite 3 and Elite 2, if you guys don't know already, for the last few FIFAs, the difference between Elite 3 and Elite 2 is 30k. You get 70k, 100k pack, and one Team of the Week pack for finishing Elite 3. And in Elite 2, you get 100k and the same packs. So I don't think, you know, to get 2 extra wins is very difficult in FUT Champs once you're already at that elite stage. For it to only be 30k difference, it makes no sense why that should be the difference there. And yeah, it should 100%, you should maybe have an ultimate pack, maybe 200k packs or something like that, just to make it a bit more incentivizing for you to actually get into Elite 2 rather than just staying in for Elite 3. Because for me, I don't see the point between getting for Elite 3 and Elite 2. The only difference I see is Elite 3 and Elite 1, or Elite 2 and Elite 1. Because the rest of it, there's no difference whatsoever. Also, for me as well, I feel like the Division rival rewards as well are they're not good. You know, sometimes, you know, Division 5 rewards can be better than Division 2 rewards. So, for example, Division 2 rank 1 or Division 2 rank 3 is better, well, it will be worse to a certain degree than Division 5 rank 3. And, you know, it shouldn't be like that. It should be, depending on the rank, you should be getting, you know, to incentivize you again to go up through the divisions. Of course, you get 125k pack if you get into Division 1. But the rest of it is fairly similar, if I'm being completely honest with you. The rewards are fairly similar, and sometimes it's better just to go down a division because you end up getting better packs in hindsight. And then also, there should be more options with the rewards regarding division rivals. You know, you're given 3 options. One is take the coins, take the packs, and take untradable packs. Maybe there should be an option for taking packs and coins for maybe half the rewards, or maybe have a different variety of packs. So maybe have a choice of 5 options or 6 options, with some having packs and some, you know, having different variety of packs but the same value instead, just to give people a bit more choice and options as well. And then finally, this one has come up to me a bit soon, because obviously I think about not this weekend but the weekend prior to that, I was live streaming and I was doing fairly well, and I came up against 2 people who were outside my skill range. Basically, there was one who was 28 and 2 and somebody who finishes in the top 100, and I was nowhere near that. So I didn't understand why I had to play it, and it was very discreet. If nobody told me, I wouldn't have known. But for me, loads of games do this. For example, Rocket League, for example. Once you finish a game of whether it's Division Rivals or FUT Champs, you should know what rank they are currently at, and maybe what rank they're predicted to get. But I personally think it should display what rank they're currently at, or what skill rating they're currently at the moment, so that you can kind of know, say, oh damn, I lost to this guy, he's Silver 1, that's very annoying, I'm an elite player. Or damn, this guy, how did I get matched up to him, and stuff like that. It offers a bit more transparency on FIFA's behalf. So that's personally what I think should happen Now let's get into the final, and you guys will definitely agree with what I'm going to say for the next one. Let's get right into it. EA and servers, you can't write a better joke than that. I mean, let's be real here. EA are notorious for having bad servers, and this is probably the one that I'm least expecting from all of these. And because they haven't done it for the past 10 years, basically. And reason being, first thing I've got to say regarding the servers is that loads of games, for example, Fortnite, Rocket League and all that, if you have a good internet connection, you're fine. However, if somebody else has a bad internet connection, you are not affected by that. And sometimes you may be benefited because they may be lagging and stuff like that, but you're never affected for having a good internet connection and your opponent having a bad one. But on FIFA, there's been so many cases where the opponent has a bad internet connection and you are affected by it. So I feel like they should have something in place where you shouldn't be affected by it, and that's fairly simple. Whether they host all the games on the server, but then again that could cause, or the one with the bare internet connection hosts a certain game at all costs. That's just my opinion. But the other thing is, which is one thing that I'll be very shocked if they do this regarding FIFA 21 Ultimate Team, and it is fairly easy and simple, which is increase the amount of money invested in the servers, because the capabilities of the servers need to be increased. Because there's so many times when the servers cannot handle, especially during promos at the start of the game, for example through the web app and stuff like that. There's so many times when the servers just cannot handle the amount of people put in place. However, if that doesn't get put in place, which is most likely which is going to happen, they should be a bit more smarter about the way they manage people getting into Ultimate Team and, you know, being able to do stuff. And personally, what I think they should do is add queues when the servers are getting a bit too mad. You know, if you're trying to access Ultimate Team, if you're trying to get into a game, you should be placed into a queue so that once somebody has left it, you can be the next one put in. Because if not, it just creates an overall very laggy and bad experience for everyone. And with this, if they have queues, that means less people are on the servers, and even though there will be less people on the game, you know, at the same time it will provide an overall better experience, because there won't be any laggy gameplay, there won't be any disconnects or anything like that. So, but yeah, that is my opinion on what they should add into FIFA 21. This is, as I said, the first episode of Let's Talk FIFA 21 Ultimate Team. If you guys did like this video, please make sure to smash that like button. Also subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. Leave a comment down in the comment section below about, you know, whether you agree with me, if you have any differences in opinions, or maybe any tweaks to anything I have mentioned in the video. And also share it, maybe at EA on Twitter, Instagram and all that. Maybe we can try and get their attention. I highly doubt it, but let's see if we can. But yeah, as I said, it's the end of the video. It's your boy Ojo Sam here, and I hope you guys have a very nice day. See ya.